I see Pat means that he's going to be playing Xbox. Or then,
Well, I mean, he could be playing on yeah, he did. I'm playing Xbox One on two.
yeah.
So is it very noisy when you I have my mic on?
I hear lots of noise. Very.
I'm at a restaurant eating. Well, not eating yet again because they all came late, so it's a thing. So I mean,
Wonder
I
if
will.
this works.
Or as I was saying to Alex, I will be listening in more than talking in. So I'll hide in the corner.
Okay, cool. You might also be able to turn on sound canceling. I don't know how. Like
On
if
AirPods, I don't think that's how that works.
it'll probably be hard where you are anyway.
Yeah, it is quite noisy here, so it's fine. I'll just be in the background.
All right, cool. I was gonna say you also got if you're on your iPhone, when you slide down in the top right, you'll see options for mic mode. Yours might already be on voice isolation, but you can always like put that on. When Pat comes on, unless he's already here. Oh, sorry, did I just change it for everyone? Okay, I put it back to together mode. But who's here? Oh, it's us four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know where Rob is.
Ah, yes, he would be the fifth one. Anyway. Is it for together? Is it on together mode for you guys as well?
Yeah, we seem to be in an amphitheater of some sort.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see that the together mode is enabled, but I haven't actioned it. I can customize it however I like. I just haven't. I don't see what you see, basically.
Yeah, it's probably you get more options on there. I can switch it, but I don't know if it switched it for everyone. So when I did it, I'm not sure if I like messed up for anyone.
So, Manuel, have we got some scores? Got some nice
Any
hot and
scores?
spicy scores?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to score it.
That's okay. Okay.
Like actually on the sheet, I scored it in my mind.
That's half the battle.
Let me do that now. Can you see me right now?
I can see your little landscapey profile picture.
Okay. I wasn't sure what you guys see when I'm not on the call. Like my camera's still on, but because I'm on another app, obviously you can't see me, you can only hear me. But I wasn't sure if, yeah, you still see me.
We see this.
Oh, you sent a picture. Thanks. That's gonna have to be.
So did you fall asleep during your watch of it?
No, however, if
Ah,
I went to watch some of it, we both went to watch some of it. It was just before bed. And we stopped and then we watched it today. Yeah, I'll explain in a bit. I'm still annoyed.
this will be our tally. So I think in 8 watches, Ben didn't fall asleep. Simon didn't fall asleep. Do you want to? I don't know if you want to count it as a you going to bed. But I fell asleep 4 times. Pat fell asleep 1 time. Rob has fallen asleep 3 times. So we now have 8 losses of consciousness. If we don't count yours across 8 watches.
Honestly, I think Shark Boy and Lava Girl was better than this. I still reserve that. This
Wow, what a statement.
That's a statement, man. That's surprising for you to say.
I don't know what you said, Simon, but put it in the chat.
Oh, I thought that was Camilla.
No, we're very quiet here. It's a weird one to score. And like my score might change a bit, but I think it makes it harder having seen the original series. And this is just it shouldn't exist.
Ouch.
But no, I'll talk in a bit. I understand why there were lots of people saying what they were saying in the comments for this movie. Anyway. It's a shame. Because it's like, hopefully I'll remember this, but I'll say it just now just in case. It's like you see something, it's very well done, very well constructed, and you trust that whatever else they put out is going to be similar quality, similar thoughtfulness. And then you see this, and it's like, what the crap happens? What the are you doing? How did you go from that to this? It's like seeing part 1 of Deathly Hallows. Like, yeah. And then you see the Half-Blood Prince. You're like, wait, were these the same people? Who the made this? I have words to be saying. But anyway. What you playing, Pat?
What you play? I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, he's in his own world.
Hey, Pat, what you playing?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, okay. I'm only playing baseball because it's easier to keep track of the.
Convo, yeah.
We're talking softball.
Makes sense. One of the just talking about Starfield because I don't want to say too much about the film before we actually properly start. So technically, it's recording. Anyway,
It's alright, no,
um,
it's fine.
the the kind of sucky thing about the fact I have an Xbox One X and not one of the series Xboxes, like obviously there's certain games that are releasing that aren't
Yeah.
that I can't play, like download to my console. And the only way I'm able to play Starfield at the moment is I've got Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
Um, Ironically, I upgraded my phone plan at just for SIM only, and like for £2 a month or something like that. One to £2 a month. They're like, oh, you can have Game Pass Ultimate for 2 years. It's just like, okay, cool. So I have that, and because I have that, I'm able to play it using the cloud gaming service
Oh, that's pretty cool.
box. Yeah. So even though, because it's gonna be a while, to be honest, until I upgrade, because because I also at the same time as upgrading, I want to get a new TV that has the capability. If I'm gonna, like, I might as well upgrade both.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it might be a while. At least I can still play some games this way.
Yeah. It's the thing about Xbox is it gives you sort of loads of different places to play. If
Yeah.
you're not lucky enough to have a console, like you can play on PC. Apparently, you can play on your. I don't know how you're going to control it.
Oh, play on the what TV or something else you said?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you must have to connect of some kind.
Oh, you're kind of skipping and lagging, but I think you said, yeah, must have to connect the controller wired or somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I saw that earlier. I was just like, I can understand your phone, your computer, but yet how you playing it on the TV app? It's like, I
Mad, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it. I think you have to have certain specific TVs because I swear the only Xbox app on my Samsung TV, it just turns on the Xbox. Hey, Rob.
Oh, we have a Wookiee.
Yay, Wookie, Rob. We can't hear you, though. I'm trying to give you the sound effects. Oh, Rob, sorry, we still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with your mic.
Is that better?
Take over. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey. Sweet.
Nice. Yeah, we can hear you. So what we saying?
Alec, we can't hear you.
Oh, hi.
This is disastrous.
It's like those classic Teams call. Your mic's on mute. We can't hear you.
I said
I am
something
not a
like
cat.
I said something semi-mean about Rob, and I thought just like it had just gone down like a lead balloon, and I was like, ah, okay.
No, we
Right. Well, Simon's in a big, loud, noisy restaurant, so I think we're all here.
yeah, he can still hear us. So just yeah. Um,
Why did you do this to us, Emmanuel? Why? Why?
it was an accident, and I didn't do enough research, and I'm annoyed at myself because I really did not expect this.
Just so we're aware, the final tally for losses of consciousness during the runtime of this film is now currently at one loss of consciousness per watch.
Oh, wow.
Emmanuel did go to bed halfway through when he watched it, so
I think that makes it worse because that's a conscious decision.
Unconscious decision.
As my wife puts it, like we were falling asleep, but we were watching it just before bedtime, which we were not going to be able to finish the film like yesterday anyway. We both had long
That
days.
was my issue when I watched it.
okay, I'm calling it 9 watches. I'm calling it 9 losses of consciousness per 8 watches.
That's
Oh,
like
right.
what, 1.1
My
something.
sleep.
But yeah,
'Cause on
again,
my rewatch, I had to start like I felt myself dozing off like quite early on. So like every half an hour, I went and just like got up and walked around and came back.
Oh man,
oh,
that,
again, huh?
that does say something when you have to like engage in like exercise just to get through it.
Yeah.
I was just a bit like, I don't know. It was a weird one for me because I spent the first 10 minutes going like, this looks kind of cool, and then I spent the second 10 minutes going like, I don't know what's going on, and it was a bit like, so I was thinking back to Love Exposure because it was, I kept getting that feeling where I was going like, how did we end up here? And at first I was like giving it the benefit of the doubt just because I had that so much of Love Exposure, and then I'd like retrace what had happened and I'd go, oh, that makes complete sense. I never got that with this one.
Yeah. Like again, like I am so sorry. I literally, and I said this to like Ben and just before Pat came on, if I can remember it properly. It's like you watch one thing like a group has made and you're like, oh yeah, that was really good, really well thought, thoughtfully put together, well done. And you just kind of like you have that expectation and assumption that, oh, whatever else they kind of do next or whatever kind of thing, or what else they do, it'll also should be similar and just as great.
Mm.
And then it's this, and it's just like, what the crap is this? Why does this exist? Why have you done this? And I started to understand more what people were saying in the comments about like what was the point of this. And then I compared it though it's not the best comparison, but it made me smile. I compared it to like Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1, or you could say for many of the Harry Potters, and then Half-Blood Prince. It's just like, what the crap is this? How did you guys? How did y'all make this after making some pretty good films?
Did you pick this because you were a fan of the anime?
Yeah, the
Right. Okay.
the series, and the thing is like having movies or similar things like this and in Japanese anime isn't like a uncommon thing. Is it's quite it's quite common. Um, whether it's like just another movie or whether it's the condensed version of the series in a movie. But this
Whoops.
was just, oh, what was that?
I just love you guys so much. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You can get many hearts if you like. Um, but yeah, this obviously, as you saw, it wasn't like a compressed version or whatnot. It was just, oh, we're doing some interviews. We're just recapping on what you've already watched. And the thing is, it's like no one who's watched it wants to see this. And then the last two scenes, sorry, I'm just going too much into it now. I'll finish with this. The last two scenes, it felt like they were cut out for a reason. and one of them wasn't even finished.
Oh wow.
So, what was there anything like added? Was
Yes.
it just those two things?
So there's technically three things that were added. Third thing doesn't make sense why it wasn't there in the first place. But the scene where the killer gets finds him in the park and gets in his cab. So I guess she still has a tracker, her own tracker on it, whatever.
Somehow.
This scene, who God knows how long later, as my wife said, like he's with the alpaca lady, and they're having kind of a date outing thingy. Those were the two scenes added. And then the third thing that was added was all the kind of pictures in the credits, which I don't know why that was missing from the first part anyway. But I don't think that was in the anime.
So literally everything else you'd seen before.
Yes.
Cause I
sat at the cafe.
Sorry.
No, this is a question to you. I don't think the series was so much of like them being sat in that cafe and answering questions either, because that felt like it was a bit like a clip show of the series, and they'd use like the interview in the cafe as like the reason to have the clips, and that's not how it played out in the series.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, that isn't that another thing that's then been added? Because I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. So you have multiple points to it. Like, that's not how the show goes. Yeah, that's not the structure of it. It's just a standard show. You're trying to investigate things. You're trying to figure things out as they're happening. You're trying to figure out, okay, who's the one who did this, or how did that. It's always changing who the main kind of suspects are.
In the eyes of the driver, just like as he experienced this thing. And I feel like someone could see it might have been from a slightly different angle. Like the scene in the casino with the gunshot, I feel like that was slightly different.
Yeah. Yeah. So you did have a lot of interview type scenes and recap stuff added in that weren't in that.
just
Again,
framed the events, I guess.
yeah, but no one needed it. It didn't help because what what people needed, if they haven't seen it before, it's just more of what happens, not someone just talking. It'd be like, oh yeah, this happened and this happened, and yeah, and blah 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 blah. It's just like, so we're basically watching a kind of like interview, but it's not like a director's cut. It's like a character's cut.
Because I was under the impression that this was gonna be. I thought this was like the finale kind of thing. So I thought what would have been added was like the stuff where you find out he's hallucinating all like the animal heads and stuff. I thought that was going to be like the big reveal and why you have the film. So I'm really questioning what the point of doing the series and then doing a condensed film with some Polaroids at the end and some interviews framing it. Like, why? Just watch the fucking show if you're gonna do that. Because like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I can't see anyone going like, "Hey, I want you to get into this series. Watch this film."
Yeah, yeah,
Kind
no,
of feels like it kind of feels like it was maybe disrupted by COVID, but it's an animation, so it's like, how would it be? Like it's
and Simon, just say this last before I go. Like let people say their opening statements and whatnot. Simon, if you haven't already seen the TV series, and for anyone else who's interested mildly, it is actually good. Like it's good
Oh
and
yeah,
thoughtful.
I've seen the TV series. The TV series is way better than the movie, and
Yeah,
it's the point where I can say it's like the movie cut out half of like the dialogue and half of the characters away. you didn't see like that weird force comedian until like right at the end, even though he is actually part of like the story during like the beginning part. So that sucked a lot. So this movie was unfortunately a bad choice.
Yeah, Simon said it well. But yeah, yeah, if you get a chance, definitely watch it. But yeah, opening statements.
I was about to go like, I don't think we will, but you also don't recommend the film, so I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if you like the show, don't recommend the film. I'm like, oh, maybe. Go on.
I was just gonna say, I think I would be interested to see the series just because, like, I don't know, I was so confused by the film, and I think it's because it just like, to me, it just kept feeling like it was jumping from one thing to another, and I assume that's a result of it being, what is it, like 6 hours worth of TV condensed into a 2 hour film, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, most of like most of my ill feeling towards it is just not knowing what the fuck was going on. So I would like some extra context, and if that means watching a TV show to find that, then I'm open to it. But yeah,
I think it just seemed to. It's so weird. It seemed to kind of like assume you're already invested in the character, and I was like, I'm not getting a lot off him. And it's like you obviously get more off him if you're watching the show, I guess.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
haven't watched the show. That's why I'm watching the film. So I thought I did think we were like in trouble with the first the first few sentences because I sent the video. I sent like a very small clip and I don't have it ready. I'm very bad at this.
Oh, you can share your screen now.
I can. Oh no, here it is. I found it. Yeah, so he says how it start. Oh wait, no, fuck. Even how it started. What would you even call the start of this? Anytime. This is what it's like to watch the film. You just wait for to talk. Of this chain of events, that doesn't narrow anything down. It all started on October 4th, wasn't it? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, we've got two sentences going like, this is really fucking complicated. How the fuck do you even pin down where something like this starts? There were so many moving parts. It was October 4th, wasn't it? And I was like, hang on, what the fuck? I wouldn't think that was like a translation thing, but like just from that moment, I was like, hang on, I've got to fucking rewind that. What the fuck?
There's no way of knowing where this began, but I'm pretty sure it was 20 to 9.
I'm pretty sure it was a Sunday at lunchtime, Christmas Day. Like, what the fucking hell? But yeah, I was intensely bored with it. I remember getting like an hour in and going like, fuck, I'm bored. Like, there's so many like moving pieces, and there were so many things where I was like, yep, 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 and I was like, you had to pick up. There was so much information you had to absorb, and I was just like, what is this? What are we doing? Who are any of these people? Why are we doing any of this? And it was just so someone could just go. It was them. It turns out, and I was like, oh, it was a fucking secret, hidden person I had no idea was there. Great, like. I would have had if I'm being like expected to work this out by myself, I definitely wouldn't have gone. Oh, there was a fucking singer who auditioned and came fourth. Happens to look exactly like the other girl who got killed, and she's currently masquerading as the other one. Like, what the fuck? Like, why would anyone think that?
I think that's why I don't understand like what the purpose of it is, because it's like, if it's obviously not made for people who haven't watched the TV show, because we've all come out of it going, what the fuck? But it's also, I don't know, I can't imagine if you have watched the TV show that it'd be much use.
Yeah, nah. This is my point as well. I was just like this is why I was so annoyed from the get-go. I was just like, wait, are you really doing this? And it kept carrying on. Like, no, you're not doing this. No. Why? I don't need this. I know what happened. I sat through the whole freaking series. Like you could have just like usually in animes as well, and I know Simon will know this, but like you can also get what's called OVAs, which this is kind of like an OVA in a way, where you have a different episode or a condensed version of the series that happens that they released just after the series, in between series, kind of like that whole kind of thing. Huh? A mid call. Uh, I said,
Not a sequel.
oh, not a sequel, not a prequel, a midquel. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's like that, and that's very common. But this was just, yeah, pointless. I was just, hey, so what are you adding to this? You added again. You added one incomplete scene. You added one scene that I don't know why you cut off from the film in the first place, and you didn't include some like nice pictures and stuff at the end on the credits from like. Why was this not there? It-
So bizarre.
That's what I mean. I thought there was going to be. I thought the bit where like you have the revelation that he's imagining it all. I thought that was the reason to watch the film, and you were going to watch the show, and it would just be an anthropomorphic thing, like the whole way through. And then the film is where you go, "Oh fuck, that's huge!" Like there'd be a reason for it, not just. No,
That was my thought going into it as well. It's exactly that. I thought the whole film, like 90 minutes at least of it, was the show, and it was like the last 20 minutes where the revelation happens. That was the whole point of making the film. Was that whole thing? But
yeah,
if that was in the show anyway, it kind of really makes the whole film redundant because it's like, what is the point of this apart from making a kind of radio edit version of the series?
I just told the same story, but worse and with less information.
It
Like,
doesn't make sense because it doesn't work in the filmic in the constructs of a 2-hour movie because it's designed to be. I will say this many times. It's designed to be a miniseries. When you're
oh,
compressing something into a miniseries, into a film that's a miniseries, it kind of loses the point. So it kind of you have to go in like if you want to make a film, you make a film. If you want to make a miniseries, you make a miniseries. It shouldn't be one thing or the other.
yeah,
So
right on,
it's
brother.
it doesn't work, and in this case is a perfect example of like compressing something for the sake of it, just to make a buck on the big screen. It's not worth it. So, and that's why it makes it more boring and confusing because you don't really get a grasp of who these characters are, and you're doing so much work trying to figure out what's going on, and the significance of the plot doesn't make sense because you don't have the mystery like Manuel says, and it's just like it's not as a good experience in that way. Even though there's good stuff in there, it doesn't it's you can tell it's like a watered down version of something that was good.
This was almost my experience of. I don't want to come in with a hot take right here, but this was almost my experience of Oppenheimer. Everything just happened very fast, very slowly.
Maybe it could have been a miniseries. The miniseries is good. You might like that more.
There was just so much stuff. And I was like, oh god, if I cared, this would be brilliant. But no, actually, it's still the plot is still quite a mess. Right, who else wants to do? I don't know if Simon wants to do his opening statement, but I'll give him a chance to do something. There you go.
Well, hello. Yep. Let's say like this. There was no point to this movie. That's it.
Sweet.
Okay, because like I have like anime movies that I want to choose. They're way better than this. No offense, Emmanuel. I love you, but like this movie choice was bad call.
Harsh words. Harsh words.
I agree. There's stuff at least watch a bit or listen to the review or check the reviews.
Patrick,
Hi.
you were quite less cold on this one.
I hadn't a clue what was going on, but I like the aesthetic of it. I put down most of my struggle with it with the dialogue, the fact that it was spoken a lot happening very fast. I wasn't able to keep up with the subtitles, where I personally probably would have been nice if there was a dubbing of it. Just sort of clue myself into what was going on. But listening to you guys talk, if it's like a thing of an entire series into a 2-hour, it's no wonder that you guys didn't really take to it being. It kind of reminds me a way of the Mr. Bean movie, where they basically cram a lot of the sketches into it, but cram all their sketches into it, which just the show that we'd seen over the years. And I think down and watch the show, I probably feel the same about this. But look, it was fine. If I'm watching, like, if you're watching it in context, which is how I felt for the most part. There was cannibals, all the animals. All the animals being the characters. All the animals being the characters, I sort of felt. I felt like I was on some sort of drug rush. But no, it's not the worst thing I've. Definitely not the best, but you know, it was. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it should be said, like the visuals are really good.
Yeah, the animation's fantastic.
I was very impressed with like the character designs and like even with the interview things, like keeping in mind like what everyone was drinking and what that said, whether like some were eating or some weren't eating, why people weren't eating, because you had like you had this kangaroo looking lady and she wanted a certain thing and they didn't have it and she was like, what's the point? And then one of the coppers was like, I just want some fucking ramen. You don't, but like, you know, I liked all that stuff. Like Dobu's having a beer and the evil girl, like she's brought her own food in and someone's having a milkshake and then one of the other cats is having like a cherry soda. Like I thought that the attention to like given to that was quite admirable, and I was like,
yeah,
this is one of those things where I'm like, you put so much effort into the aesthetic of this, but this plot's quite spotty.
What made me laugh was I was watching. I think it was last Sunday. I was watching American football and Rob have someone's login. So I gave him my login, and about an hour later, and he sent me another message, and it's like, Pat, you're gonna hate this. I replied straight away, why? And he just never reiterated. So I was like, oh, okay.
Because he was unconscious.
I wonder what I'm walking into. And it was just the fact it was super boring.
This is the thing, is it's quite insidious because you know you try and warn people about it, but then you're just asleep as well, and you're just like, ah, fuck.
I just,
That's the quote for the poster. It's just weaponized narcolepsy.
so hopefully Simon something better.
Hopefully.
Shit that you wanted to pick.
I wonder indeed.
Oh dear. Yeah, I was quite surprised with the twist as well, because I was shocked at how much I found that it was making the story a bit worse. And I was like, this is quite interesting actually, because you had the thing where you go like, oh, this is very clever. But then I was like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of making things quite questionable now, because you've got the alpaca lady, and she dives in after him when he's like, when his car's like submerged underwater, and she's like gonna go do her little Caporia kick. And I was like, you know what? If she's an alpaca lady, I can kind of see that, because she's got hooves, she's got, strong hind legs. I can kind of get behind that. But then the twist is like she was a human
I
the whole
wouldn't
time,
go behind that.
and I was like, bollocks. Not a chance this weedy little woman is kicking out a car window with like just her little feet. Like, no, it's not happening.
That really threw me. I was like, I didn't think, and they went from animals to humans. I was like, what the fuck?
But then I was like, this is kind of making like the murderer, like the murderer story. This is making this really weird as well, because it's just like, one, you're very fucking lucky, Mr. Manager, that the girl who's gone missing, you have another woman, you have another young girl who also auditioned, who looks enough like this girl that you can pass her off as like the dead one. But I was like, so already that's really unlucky. But I guess they're cat people, so if you got a big fucking cat head, yeah, maybe people are going to be less discerning. And then I was like, no, they're people, and I thought, fuck off again. Not a chance. Like, no way. Like the basic identical twin of this person auditioned, came forth, and then no one noticed anything other than like, oh, she's dancing a bit weird. Just like, nah, no.
I think what didn't help, I would say, is the masks. Now, if it's in real life, now yes, there's suspension of belief in a lot of stuff, by the way, but real life, uh, Japanese girls around that age will look. It is a very ah, homogeneous homogenous society in a way, even the style and a lot of things that they grow up. So it wouldn't be outside the realms of ability, um, if yeah, it happened to be that this girl came forth is actually looks a lot like her with a mask on. Just do her hair, just do her hair the same, put her in the same clothes. She's around about the same height. All right, cool. But I
I
think I think it kind of makes more sense if it were in the series than it does in this, where it's just like, wait, what? How did that work?
That's what I mean. No, I yeah, I think I think it works better in the context that they're the same species, rather than we're both Japanese girls. And I was like, there are 3 Japanese girls in this club, in like this little group thing, and they don't even look identical. So I'm like, I don't know. I just found it a little bit harder to swallow. And I was like, if this is a cartoon world, yeah, okay. But yeah, I just found it a bit more difficult with the
Oh,
context of the humans.
if I remember, if we don't really see the dead girl that much, but she has the same sort of hair color and haircut as her, so it's kind of like, oh, I can kind of see it, but it's not. I mean, it's not really a good excuse, but that's like kind of the excuse, because his his like perspective. It's like, oh, it's a black cat, I guess. So it's kind of like, I guess they would be kind of similar, but even then he was like, you're you know the same black cat. Oh wait, no, you're a different black cat. I go, I don't know, maybe that's about as far I can really stretch it, but it's not a really good excuse, you know.
Also, sorry. On that note, then, dead lucky that his his synapses happened to assign them the same species of cat.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely I mean, that's just like his thing. But I guess they're sort of the same cat again. No. It's kind of like with the guy with the gun. It's kind of like he said it was a puma, but I was like, no, he's just a cat again, isn't he? I guess I couldn't tell the difference. To be honest.
I think it was just a combination of things as well. It's like the manager thinks of it and goes, "Yeah, we can pull this off." I don't know. I just found it all. I find like those kind of things like quite strange. But it is all going into this whodunit thing, where because like whodunit, usually the structure is you know who everyone is. You're introduced to everyone, you got everyone's motivations, and then you start working through them, and you kind of have your idea of who did that, who's got reason to do that, who's got reason to do that, and after that you can kind of start playing with stuff. But I found the structure of this super weird, where it was just going through, and I was just like, I'm just along for the ride until you tell me who it was. Like I don't
So,
know who anyone is yet.
one more thing. If I remember correctly, the murder was actually a B plot. It was the murder doesn't happen, or you don't really find out about the murder until like episode 2 or 3. The main plot of the story is just the human interactions, quote unquote, with like the main taxi driver and like with the other ladies and stuff. So it's like the reason why you think, oh, it's a bit jarring that they just had this murder plot. It's like, oh no, it's very very slowly introduced, which unfortunately didn't happen in like the movie because it's like, oh yeah, there's a murder plot. Oh, but like in the other thing, it's like, oh, something's happened to this girl. We don't know what. Is she dead? Is she not dead? We don't know. Then we find out she's dead. Then that's where the mystery begins. But again, it's a slow burn. It's not what happened in this movie. This movie is it just ripped to shreds to the actual show and stuck them back together in the wrong order. That's the best way to explain it.
What was the deal with his cupboard? Because I feel like the film just forgets.
Shit, oh fuck. Oh no, there's okay. At the credits, you saw by the end there's a Polaroid of the cat, right?
Of a cat.
Yeah, you saw a Polaroid of the cat, yeah?
Okay.
That's the cat in the cupboard. But the Polaroid has no goddamn context because you don't realize that the cat that was in the cupboard wasn't like a girl. It was actually just a cat. So there's no context in it. It ruins it even more because they're like, oh look, it's a Polaroid of the cat. And you're like, if I watch this movie, I'll be like, why the hell do I care? I don't care. And then it just makes it worse for us who's watched the anime series. We're like, oh yeah, it's a cat. It wasn't introduced at all. So it just like makes it worse.
Because that was something I remembered. I forgot it from my first watch, and then on the second watch I went, "Oh yeah, where does this go?" And then it just isn't.
Yeah. So remember the line again? It was very quick. So if you don't remember it, that's okay. But when nope, not Gobu. One of the police twins, but the good police twins was like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous about going in. Don't you have that girl locked up in your place? Like, no, I have nothing to do with that. But there was a whole part in the series where it was just like, wait, does the taxi driver actually, is he keeping this girl in his closet? Because we heard kind of like scratching, almost cat-like noises and like some sounds coming from the cupboard. And at this point, they're all like, you have a lot of animal people, cat people, and we knew she was a
Really prime yeah, really prime me to think that he's got the girl locked up because the series starts with the news breaking and he's like so like subdued in how he behaves. He just seems really suspicious right off the bat. So you kind of made to think that the cat that he has is the missing girl.
Mm.
And then all the other stuff happens in the middle, and then towards the end, then it all becomes apparent that it's all connected, by which point you've kind of forgotten that there was someone in the cupboard in the first place.
Yeah, but it wasn't someone. It was actually cat.
That,
It's the only animal, like the only actual one of the only actual animals in the actual show.
that's so fucking bad that they included it, but didn't include the payoff for it.
Because yeah, that was a whole. Yeah, that whole. And it was just like, nah. You're thinking, nah, this guy he could possibly be messed up because there's a lot he ain't saying, a lot of things kind of going like moving different. Shit. But
Shit, that's terrible. I was gonna say I was gonna have a go about like the comedy duo. So I was like, oh, that goes absolutely fucking nowhere. But
that was
now I'm more annoyed at that where they're like, oh, here's a because they didn't include the scratching or the meowing noises, and they didn't include why the cupboard was important. That's fucking shit.
the comedy duo was
It was
it was more of a kind of story, but it was a lesson story alongside what was happening. Like Simon did say, like they're involved at different points, but the importance of their into characters, like the kind of the older guys of the comedian's connection to the mass shooter and the other duo's connection with the one we know, the white cat,
Hmm.
and his relationship with her, and like what kind of things she's telling him and they're talking about throughout the show kind of thing. And like just because as I've I've said this at one point, like you unlike a classic who done it, you didn't know all the players at the start. So it gave you that feeling that there could be another person just on the periphery who we don't even know of yet, who adds another layer of complexity to it all. And then every time they did introduce someone else, it then introduced another part to the puzzle and like got you further into the trying to figure out, okay, how did this actually all happen? Like what's going on? What's everyone's motives? What are people not saying? So yeah, it's a
Just yeah, weirdly structured.
yep.
Oh, actually, there was also the scene with like when he's actually having that weird little car chase scene that you see another cat in the road that he tries to avoid. So that actually brought up questions when we were watching the series of like, wait a second, are some animals animals or are some animals people? Because
That
you know, there's
threw me off so fucking much. I was just like, sorry, what is going on now? Like there are if we got like a Goofy and Pluto kind of deal here, like where you have actual cats, but you also have cat people, because this is fucking weird now.
I mean, it was also the thing where you saw like them like eating like a steak, and I'm like, wait, so are they eating eating animals? It doesn't make sense. I was like really confused seeing them, like the old like monkey dude eating a steak with the girl, and I was like, ah, that's like,
There
Oh,
was there was also a whole kind of part trying to figure out, okay, what's actually going on? Because you started thinking something's not quite up. Wait, do humans actually exist in this world? Because the comedy duo, they call themselves Homo sapiens. And when they first start doing that, it's just like, oh wait, are they joking about the species that's not the dominant ones or something? Or maybe like, why is this coming to this? And so there's just lots trying to figure out, wait, what is actually going on? Why not seeing any actual humans? And like Simon's saying, you're thinking these things, and you're like, wait, something's not quite right. But, huh? Uh,
Yeah. Ben, you got some thoughts? Looks like you want to share something. Looks like you want to.
Sure. Yeah.
It's bad.
I found it oddly taxing. I can say one thing.
That just reminded me of the fucking worst joke in the whole thing. It's just when the influencer goes like, "Oh, what are taxes?" And I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Ben, the way you said "sure" is like emblematic of this week, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like grown, isn't it? Like, sure. I mean, it's fine. It's like the definition of meh. Like what we've all been talking about is exactly my issues with it. It's kind of like a film that's compressed so much into a little time. It does so much in 2 hours, but you don't get a grasp of what's going on, of who the characters are, and you don't have the connection you should have with them, or you're not invested as you should be. Because I've read some review on that what's it called, Crunchyroll, and said, yeah, it literally is Zootopia meets Pulp Fiction, and I was like, is it though? What the hell is going on? I mean, even if the show is good, I don't think it's going to be that. It's going to be its own thing. But
needs to have a bit of teeth. Pulp Fiction sort of style.
But yeah, it's kind of like I didn't.
Sorry, needs a bit of teeth if it wants to be Zootopia level.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not edgy enough to be Zootopia.
You really struggled with that.
Yeah. I keep going to call it Zootropolis.
Zootropolis.
Actually, now you mentioned it, I think that's what I thought it was called as well.
No, that's
the
what it was
American
called.
version's called Zootropolis, and we got Zootopia.
Oh
so-
no, I thought it was the other way around. Everywhere in the world called it Zootopia, but the UK called it Zootropolis for some reason.
Oh.
Well,
one of them.
it's worth to look at when we talk about it another time. But yeah, I don't know. But
That's
it's
so
not
weird, actually. They're very different things. Like Utopia and Metropolis are not the same.
yeah, Utopia versus a metropolitan city. No thanks. It's different things.
There's an ideology war there.
They both have the zoo in them. That's the thing. Yeah, this film.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was a struggle to get through because it was kind of like I wasn't really invested in where it was going. I did like certain characters, but at the same time, I didn't really care what was going on because I didn't really follow the intricacy of the plot closely. And like Pat says, the subtitles I struggled with because sometimes they're so like linked into the dialogue, which in theory is technically a masterful way of doing it. But when someone speaks fast, you're gonna miss like a whole thing. And when someone speaks slowly, the subtitles there, and I read it twice because my brain is accustomed to read it quite fast. So I read the same passage twice. I was like, oh, what's going on? And then someone speaks like blah, blah, and it's like, wait, what was that? and so it's kind of it takes a lot of wit to kind of like get your head around it. But obviously the pacing and the structure of it makes it even harder to follow on top of that. So that's probably another reason why it was hard to follow.
There's only one bit where the subtitles jarred me a bit, and I can't remember exactly what the line was now, but basically somebody said something and they sounded quite angry, and the subtitle just didn't match up with the tone that they said it in, and I was kind of like, I'm not sure you did say that.
Oh, that's not quite good dubbing of the subtitle. Would you say?
I want the person who said this is like Zootopia mixed with Pulp Fiction. I want them to watch this in the same small theatre as Quentin Tarantino, and then have the balls to say that. I just want them to do it.
You know, it's just that a casual thing is that, there's the two random things I've thought in my head that similar to, animals, and they talk Zootopia. Or people being violent and just talking about stuff real quick. Oh, Pulp Fiction. Oh, it's those two
It's
things.
just like any film with talking animals and any other film.
Yeah.
Go on, tell Tarantino what you said. Ah, shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. To be fair, it's kind of like going back to the subtitle thing. I did like Rob mentioned how they integrated some translation into the billboards and the text and all that. That was so clever.
Did you
That's the
struggle
best
with
thing.
that? Because I think that would have been like a real barrier with the subtitles as well.
Oh, really? No, I didn't struggle with that aspect of it. It's
Okay.
only the dialogue. Only the dialogue.
Because they had stuff that was like on an angle, but the subtitles were also on an angle, and I was like, "Oh, you fucker! Like what?"
Yeah, and sometimes it was be on the top of the screen because there'll be characters talking at the same time, which was like Shin's Godzilla, because it was like there's so much going on. It's like, oh
I
crap.
was just like, "You don't want me to be immersed, do you? Like, fuck you."
Yeah, that's the one thing that like I usually don't care about missing stuff, but because I already saw this, I was just like, I'm just trying to see what they added in. So I wasn't paying that much attention. Because even when I missed a line or two, I was like, yeah, I've seen this before. So I feel for all of you because you haven't seen it. So it's just so uh, it's not nice.
Yeah.
It's always funny.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to like say it's a bad film in the slightest, but it's like it's not a good film in terms of what it could have been. And as
That's
Rob
right.
said,
It is a bad film.
It's
it
a
just
bad film,
just
but
doesn't.
I'm not convinced it's a bad series.
No, it's not. It doesn't work as a cinematic movie.
I have more now that I've heard Emmanuel say that this is shit. I have more faith in the series.
Yeah. Well, at least we know that. At least we know that it's kind of like, if it was designed to be one thing, it should always be intended to be one thing. It shouldn't be forced to be something it's not.
But on the upside, your recurring sentiment has been proven right.
Yeah.
And that's that a bad film can be a good miniseries.
Yeah. It deserves to be.
He was getting into that earlier. He was just like, they're not the same thing. They're different. They're different requirements to be a good miniseries. They're not the same.
Yeah. But in this case,
I just found there was quite a there was quite a lot of convenience and stuff, but like they were taking the time to set up that it wasn't a inconvenience, and it was just kind of like you had the crazy guy with the fucking mobile game. By the way, that animation was actually that was something that was actually quite janky with me. He was like holding it in his left hand, and then the walrus's taxi makes him jump out of the way, and it seems to sort of switch hands as he's going. He's like, fuck, and he's trying to like grab it, but he's grabbing it with like a different hand than the one it was in. And I was like, that just looks super unnatural. Like you dive and it comes out your left hand, so you go like I just thought that was super weird. But then yeah, he takes the time. They showed him in a taxi following his taxi, and then getting the murderer girl to plant a phone in because it has the GPS on. So that accounts for how he's tracking it. And I was like, okay, that works for a day. That works for a day at fucking most. You have your mobile data on, you have your maps on. That's not lasting longer than 24 hours at absolute most. That's not happening. But then later, he has to be in the car park to confront him and Dobu after they've done the big heist thing. And I'm like, they're not even in. He's not you. That his car isn't even in that car park. You're looking at a completely different car.
Oh man, it's true. Like, is it? Oh, Alex Frozen. Hard to tell on this together mode. Um, He's so small. Not
He looks terrified.
when he. Uh,
I got the picture.
like in standby mode. It could
There you go. Send it.
but it could phase. It doesn't explain necessarily how, not even how, it explain why there might have been something in the TV series that made a bit more sense to this, because I don't remember questioning it. But there, like, it doesn't explain why he should at the van. Like, he's not walking past the car park. He's in the car park at the van. But yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like there were so many points where like I was just going like, why is this happening, and how have we got here? And I tried to retrace my steps, and then every time I was just like spending like a minute or two just going like, no, this doesn't. I don't know how we've got here. And then because I was thinking that, then I'd miss the next setup, and then I'd be like trying to do it again, and it's such a frustrating experience.
Sorry, man. Yeah, sorry.
It's an interesting one though, because it's like I don't know. We yeah, I don't think we've ever had anything that's like been this kind of format before, where it's kind of an adaptation, but not really, because it's just trying to squash something down. Like, I suppose it's more of a repurposing than an adaptation.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that might be, I mean, I wouldn't want to pick this myself, but because it's an adaptation, but different than the book. It's kind of done in an interesting way. Is we need to talk about Kevin.
Oh, that's a great film, yeah.
I find it the whole way they went about making it interesting because the books are just like the books. The book is like mainly like journal entries and different stuff. It's not written in the standard kind of way.
Mm,
I was just like, I was interested. I was like, oh, how are they actually gonna make this film?
mm.
This.
Lynn Ramsey's a really cool director, man. Have you ever seen Ratcatcher?
No.
I think that might have been her first film, but that's a really good film as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did. It's a good example of sorry. We need to talk about Kevin. Very, very intense and psychological movie. And even though Ezra Miller's in it, they do a great job of convincing you they're a psychopathic serial killer. So it works well on that one.
Wait, what? I've just seen what Alex said to you, Pat. There's no dirt. That's...
There's no dirt.
Oh yeah, I just saw what you said to Pat, that his screen's not dirty.
Oh, have I just got shit in my teeth?
I guess so. Oh no,
Oh,
I
that's
see it now. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, do you know the bit on the teeth?
I get it now.
Yeah. Sorry, my router just fucking gave up and died for some reason.
Oh, it was brilliant, man, because you cut out at the exact point that you finished, and you just so you finished what you were saying, and then you were just stuck there like.
I thought you were all just playing an elaborate trick on me, and you were all just like frozen in position, like you're gonna leave in a minute. Oh no, wait. Okay, it just fixed itself, for fuck's sake.
Oh, that's trippy. For a moment, you were just looking at yourself with such disdain.
Why am I in fucking balloons? What the fuck is this? Okay, so you all heard what I said.
Yeah, but it
Okay.
did get overshadowed by you freezing.
Yeah, we got to. It's like, yeah, what? How did we get there? Pretty much, and then that was it.
It was just, why did you go through the bother of having a reason? Don't. Okay. I saw myself freeze again, and I thought, not again. I was like, why did you go through the bother of accounting for him being able to track him if you were just gonna kind of like just go like, and then he finds him again?
Yeah, like I was saying to Rob, that I think in the series, a reason that made more sense because I didn't remember really questioning that. But obviously they skipped out a lot. It's just,
I'm just reading about it now, just to like, I don't know, try and contextualize it a bit in my head. And apparently, the Japanese name literally translates to "film ODDTAXI in the woods," which is quite a different meaning. Just ODDTAXI in the woods.
which is, I guess one of the things that I wish they had included more of was even though yes it's kind of important but not as important is the cat how Otokawa's the taxi driver's friend, white-haired monkey,
Mm.
how he got catfish and how deep his catfish was. Oh, he was
Should have been in there more than. I feel like that deserved to be in there more than the comedy duo, because the comedy duo was only kind of linked, but the guy being catfish tells you more about Mystery Kiss and that it's just a whole dodgy mob operation in the first place, catfishing old man.
yeah,
It's not catfish, it's something else.
but it's
So basically, they're like the girls are meeting these old guys to like trick them into giving them money. So the taxi driver's friend like takes out a massive loan to buy an engagement ring. She accepts
yeah,
it.
gold digging them basically, yeah.
I mean, he's catfishing if anything.
Yeah, because he's pretending to be wealthy, but yeah, that's kind of they're being forced to run like that scam to get some money for the group.
Mm.
And that just would have made a lot more sense to be in there than, because I feel like also when he does get, because don't the mob pick him up and then they beat him up or something, and
They
that
beat him up really
and that
badly.
ties into figuring out some of what happened with the girl and why. And then it looks like that's why the guy from Mystery Kiss is trying to get the dash cam camera so much or something. I can't remember, but it just feels like it has more to do with the storyline than what we did actually see anyway.
Yeah, like you could have cut the comedy duo completely out and just had the interview with the kid.
Definitely, because they had no significance. Like even in the TV series, like we both said, it was only relevant because of who they were connected to, and that was only to give more like context to what was going on, and maybe a little bit more information because we have the time. Because of course it was a series.
Cause
But
I think as well, like when he comes in for his interview and he goes, "I'm barely involved in this." I was like, okay, so why are you here? And he's just so much of the film. Like they're going through this whole thing where they're like, I don't think we should be partners anymore. I don't think we're funny. You're out of touch. You're doing all this. You're doing all that. And I was like, is this going anywhere? And the answer was no. It's
yeah,
not.
yep, nowhere. Pretty much.
When it could have just been, we're interviewing the kid who's really into it, into like the band and that. Just interview him, and then you don't have to bother with these two characters who aren't doing anything. Also, on the note of Kakihana, he can fuck off. I'd beat him up as well. He's so fucking old when you see, because I was like, he looks old as a white-haired monkey, but I guess like if you are a white-haired monkey, you probably will look old. So maybe he's a bit younger than what the art is making him look to be. And then they go like, here's his human version, and I was like, he's a fucking decrepit old pensioner. What the fuck? Why is he like, 18-year-old? And I'm just like, "Ugh." Like, at least they're consenting adults, so like, well done, Japan. That's a step in the right direction. But fuck me, like, is the age difference is so weird, and I was just like, stop it. The two consenting adults, fair enough, but like 18 to 40 still.
It's still messed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even in this day and age, it's kind of like it's more apparent than it ever was. So
I'm about to say it's about the same as Leo. I guess.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And like what?
Oh, I thought you said about Leon. Sorry.
Oh yeah, almost.
Call back.
Yeah, it's something about that man or woman reversed. It's still bad either way you look at it. It's just like when they were like 20 years old, that person was a kid. So it's still not right.
Half your age plus 7, and then if it's within that, then it's not weird.
Mm.
Outside of that, it's weird.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah, that's quite a good rule actually. Just doing some thinking on it now.
Oh,
Because
you're
even when
Thanks, Parks and Rec.
Quick maths.
is that from Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah, it works, man. Because even if you go up to like 80, then that's still 47. That's...
Yeah, well, after you're 40, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever. But
40, 27. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
It's just, yeah, that
Wow.
whole-
That's it.
Like-
Because it
like it's
even,
changed your life.
it even works if you scale it down. Because at 18, that's 16. that's
Yeah.
That's a very good rule. Although it does reach an sorry, it reaches an equilibrium if you're below 14, because then it starts giving you older, and then that, yeah.
Let's not overthink it. It works to
It was
principle.
just designed to be said and left alone.
Up to 18, it's fine.
We dare not introduce this to Japan. They won't know what they're doing. But no, well done on making all the girls 18, even though they look about 10 because they're about 4 foot tall. Like, at least it was acknowledged. Anyway. Yeah, lots of. Actually, on that note, I did enjoy it. Like the scene with the kid who's really into Mystery Kiss being in the taxi, and he's going like, "Oh yeah, the girls are so brilliant, they're great." And then he describes the lead singer with like a lot of adjectives, and then he's like, "Yeah," and then the other girl, she dances great, and then the third girl, she's really modest, and the walrus goes, "You're really excited about them, but the descriptions got less extravagant as you went." And I actually laughed at that the second time, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" It made me laugh. That was the only bit.
There is something endearing about the walrus, to be fair.
That's the thing. I could see him being the center of this TV show, and I'm actually like, yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
But like, just in this teeny tiny, he has such a teeny role because they got to get everything else in.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you bother? Like, what's the fucking point?
I would really like to know what the point is, like, without being flippant, because I can't reason it, because whether you've seen it or not, it just doesn't seem to do much like this.
God, purpose is just tanking for me. I've probably dropped about 2 points just talking about it.
I'd understand it more if it was, rather than being an anime originally, if it was a manga, and it was just somebody being like, I want to see this rather than reading it. That I'd get. But
Yeah.
So surely you wanna endear me to your main character at fucking least. And it's like, no, we're just gonna describe this very long plot.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't really care about the plot. I don't know
Hmm.
who it is. What were you saying?
What, just then?
Yeah.
I was humming the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh. Do, 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 do.
What was it? You want to do favorite, least favorite scenes? Whatever.
I think I've already done my favorite scene, but God, least favorite scene. Oh, actually, I want to do like favorite character design. I think Dobu looks sick.
Really?
I didn't like how his teeth didn't go behind his lips a lot of the time, but I thought like the little orange stripe and the big parka and like the chain and that. I thought he looked pretty fucking neat. I didn't like his human counterpart. I thought, you committed to a design which doesn't translate into human very well.
Mm.
But yeah, I
see,
thought Dobu looked pretty cool.
I can see why he'd resonate with you, like with his like heavy brow and
Fuck are you trying to say?
weird. Just he's moody.
You fucking walrus.
Like, you know, just I can see how you'd be on the same wavelength. You know?
My least favorite design was probably the fucking hippo. I disliked that character intensely.
Really?
Wasn't a fan. Although I also didn't like how the alpaca lady looked. Like, I think if you're gonna internalize someone as being an alpaca, it's because they're really fucking ugly and they've got a big hairy neck. But they kind of went like they just anime girled her, and I'm like, no, she's not a rabbit. She's a fucking alpaca. She's got a big fucking nose, and she's gonna spit and bite on you. Like, not this, whatever this is.
Yeah.
So that's probably like the crappiest design, I think. Whereas
I think
Obu's pretty expressive, and I also liked the porcupine one slightly.
there was one. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, that would do. So there was this one sort of like scene between the alpaca lady and the walrus, where it's just like, I mean, to be fair, like looking at it now, it's not as much of a thing. But when I was half asleep watching it, I was like, oh, it looks like me and Dan.
Where's that?
I just sent it.
Ah. Oh, the doctor as well. I thought that was going to lead to something like quite funny, where he was going to go, "What do I look like to you?" And he's going to go, "A gorilla." And he's like, "Okay, fine." And then he was going to be like a human version. And he's going like, "What do I look like to you now?" And he's like, "Still a gorilla." Like, you're a human, but like, come on, like.
He was the best design character. His name is Gorilla. And it's just like, oh yeah, he's a gorilla man. And it's like, yeah, he literally is a gorilla man. So it's like, it's perfect. So I've got to say, even as a human being, he is a gorilla. So that's like, yeah, it makes sense. That's why even when he goes, "You're a gorilla," that's why he laughed. He's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I am," and it's like it's absolutely perfect. So I think like the best like character is definitely like the hyena, the kid who won like the lottery because of his hairstyle. I thought, oh yeah, something about that is just like really perfect. As it's like the design of it was really great. The ones that I didn't like the most were like the two police officers. I kind of like their backstory,
Yeah.
so it wasn't shown in the movie.
Yeah.
There was a lot of backstory that they didn't show in the movie, but like them being like dogs and them like having that just a weird round button noses. I just went, it's just like,
Yeah,
it didn't look great.
I think when you're working with like the walrus and his design is like so good. I really like how he's got like a giant fucking head and his hat doesn't even fit on it. It's just a normal hat. And but like he's got such an expressive face. And then yeah, you got the two dogs and I was like, don't know.
I was just like flicking through characters, just like as we were talking about this, and I was like, oh yeah, Sekaguchi looks really cool. I think he might be my guy. And then I opened his wiki page, and it says he's a 33-year-old polar bear, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, he is.
Yeah, I quite like his design too. I think again the comedy duo I thought were the shittest. It's something about seeing a horse with fingers. I just don't need it.
I love this bio. It says Sekiguchi is a big guy who is Yano's perfect bodyguard and partner. He's strong in fights, but he's also strong in IT.
Put the spreadsheet together. Yeah, I like that they didn't just have like a generic thug. Like they went to efforts to make his design look neat.
Yeah, I do think that he had kind of like a similar vibe to Tyrone from Snatch. Like just in kind of like the way that he carries himself.
You could fit a jumbo jet in.
Hmm?
Tyrone, you could fit a fucking jumbo jet in there.
You stuck up on me.
I've been cornered. I don't know what I've done for a least favourite scene
Oh, God.
because I so just didn't enjoy any of it. I think the comedy duo, any scene with the comedy duo, I was like, this is not anything. This is going absolutely nowhere. The horse is also fucking chatting to one of these 18-year-old cats. I don't need him anywhere. Like, fuck off. Yeah, that's my answer. Favorite scene.
Wasn't the horse like 20 something though? Really? I thought he wasn't that old.
He still had very high cheekbones for a young person.
Okay. I'll let you have that. I have no answer to that. Yeah, I guess he looks old. But I think he was supposed to. I think it's mainly because like the dog cat was it like, are you sure it was a cat? Was it not a dog?
Was it what?
The white fluffy animal character from like the Mystery Kiss.
Yeah.
Was it? Okay, no, it doesn't matter. But like I thought it was the same rule as divide it by 2 at 7, right? Because like then it's like the age range is not that bad comparatively.
Oh, I just thought he looked old as well.
Okay, I guess that's fine.
But you know, I'm British, so I'm just disgusted by anyone having an interest in a lady. So. Favorite scenes? Come on now, anybody, step right up.
I think
Sorry, I'm just gonna mute Pat because the TV's interfering with Emmanuel's ability to be heard.
I think one of my favorite scenes in Alpaca Capoeira, like just where while he's being whee, yeah. It's just like, why are you here? Even saying that, even in the series, I'm trying to remember that out of left field. Like, it's not clear. It's understandable why she's kind of there, but the fact is, like, out of nowhere, Alpaca just comes in and starts beating this guy up.
See, that one wound me up as well, because when she was being interviewed, she was like, "Why was I there? You know why I was there." And I was like, "No, I literally don't. Why were you there?"
Oh, I accidentally took off. Anyway, yeah, it's true. I remember, I was like, wait, no, no, no. You need to give context. This, this is not, no, this is for people who anyway. Least favorite, I'm gonna pick the same as my wife and go just where it was not finished. It literally, the girl, the murderer girl, what you call it? She went with the knife, and then that was it. It was like, for goodness sake, hey, you added these to this film. You're just it, as again, I was saying to wife, like you either usually with stuff like this, you you either usually get um like new material, like a whole different like just a like episode kind of thing with some stuff to it, or you get a whole kind of properly this is thing in its own right, not whatever this was doing. Anyway,
Oh, man. What a pick.
Yeah, what are you laughing at?
No, just yeah, just everything really.
I think the shittest plot point in it probably is Dobu telling Alpaca Woman to give Walrus an eraser, a novelty eraser, who is in the shape of Buddha or something. And he has no reason to think that that's gonna endear him to her whatsoever.
Yeah,
But
I
he puts it
get
in
that.
his breast pocket so that when he is about to get shot by the psycho guy, it falls out of his shirt pocket, and the kid's like, "Ah, fuck, that's the Buddha eraser." And I was like, "What are we doing? In what world do you bow your head and your breast pocket just opens to the world? Like, what's going on? Why are we doing this? Why is the eraser in his pocket? Why did Nobu think he would love this eraser so much? Why?"
that whole thing was just that it was so it just about like the whole thing about the eraser makes much more sense again in the series. So the guy he the way to imagine him.
For fuck's sake.
What did you hear what I said?
No, Ben was typing very, very loudly.
I thought I was muted. Sorry.
The skull, the skull basically falling eye. That's playing him. And you remember down guy it was just one after another, and at the world. Oh, someone disagrees with that. Why you disagree?
It's not far off. It's not far off, but in the show, he basically was obsessed with collecting these like in his school, having these different rubbers were like your social currency, and he stole his dad or his brother's or someone's credit card to buy this eraser, and
His
then
dad's card, his brother's computer.
gets miserable. And then his next obsession is this computer game that he's then obsessed with, like completing whatever. So it's not that like it was one thing after another, as much as it's just like this is the thing he was obsessed with, and then it got taken away from him at the last second.
Was obsessed with it because that was part of his only kind of meaning. Yeah, his only outlet, one of his only meanings for life. And then that was taken away from him. And the kind of game at this point, he was living a really kind of a really stucky I say workman life. Uh, he had nothing to kind of live for. It was just day in, day out. He had, yeah, he was just a salary man, but he had no friends. He didn't really talk to any family. Like his life was really sad. Um, and this kind of being like successful in this game meant everything to him. So when he finally got the random loot character, Dropbox character, that's extremely rare. That would change a lot for him in his mind. I mean, he needed therapy. But, um, and she said medication too. But the fact that he almost got run over, the phone dropped in the water and it didn't save. So when he rethinged his last save, reloaded his last save, he didn't have that special character. And that was like the last straw. He had nothing else to live for. And it's all this taxi driver's fault. And he wants to take it out on him. And there was just a whole arc about his depression and everything that led him to that point. And it was all like I want to say there was lots of obsessions and not dealing with things properly and just getting worse and worse and worse and worse, which was interesting.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just I'm questioning why Dobu thought the walrus would give a fuck about it, and why he thought that would endear him to the alpaca lady. And then yeah, it's basically just there so he can get out of getting shot by the crazy kid. So they have to have a situation where it's in his breast pocket and he has to go like that, so it falls out of his breast pocket, so the kid's distracted. And I'm like, this is crap. This is really bad. It's like a plot point.
Fair
This,
enough.
this is this is very thin reasoning. Sorry, does anyone else want to do their favourite scene or least favourite scene or character design or etc.?
I'll jump in just for a quick second. Then I would say that him getting the razor was Dobu's plan for to get the alpaca lady to be endeared to our walrus friends. So
Why?
it's kind of like why? Because the walrus has the camera stuff inside his taxi, so that's what he was trying to do. So it's like
Why does the eraser endear him to the alpaca lady?
oh, it's not about the eraser. It's about giving a gift. The gift just happens to be an eraser. I guess that's what they were trying to put out there. The whole point is that the eraser is not like that special until you find out actually the eraser is actually quite special. It's actually the dead cat girl's dad. yeah. It's a whole goddamn like side story that you don't really know is, and it's like the dead girl. Yeah, that razor is of her dad. It's like he's supposed to be like a comedian actor, and he's like, yeah, it's like one of a kind. Yeah, because the comedian actor only has just one. It's like it's really special. To who is it really special to? Just the cat boy that he, nearly ran over. But like, is it really special to anyone else? No. So why should I care? You shouldn't. But it's just special. Okay. Yeah, it's like it's like a very thin veiled point. But unfortunately, that's what they were trying to establish, and it wasn't really a good established point. And I like, it sucks.
Cool.
Yeah, but like, if you want to say, I feel like my favorite scene is definitely the scene that wasn't in the goddamn movie. It's the scene why the police officers seem to give the Undertaker a fucking hard time. It's because they're all like orphans, and like the reason why that they give him a hard time is because he's a taxi driver. Because their parents were killed in a hit and run because of a taxi driver, and it's like, oh wow, that explains a lot of why they give him shit. But it's like never established in the movie. None of that is in there, and it's like you've cut out the main reason why they give. That's why we should give a shit about your character. And now that it's gone, it's like, fucking hell, man. It's just like that just makes. That's like my least favorite scenes for this thing. It's just like you just remove half their backstory, and it's just like empty, and it sucks. But my favorite scene is just it is definitely the Alpaca Lady, just because of her martial arts stuff, because it's just funny. And you just seeing her doing because you have the background music as well, and while she's doing the dances, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? And it's like, but it's like it's funny to me. It's just like that. It came out so left field, but I was like, this is ridiculous. This is. I thought about this when I watched the series, but like even in here, it's like he did it like he did it. And I was actually wondering when watching the movie if they were going to introduce it. I was like, oh no, they kind of have to introduce her being like this Brazilian like martial arts thing, or it wouldn't explain her breaking the window while she was in the ocean. Then I'd pause because I was like, actually, that doesn't explain how you can break a window when you're in the ocean anyway. Fuck, that doesn't make sense. So I was like, all right, it doesn't make sense either way. But it's like at least I found that funny. But so I was like, all right, fine, it's fine. It's like it's not great, but like yeah, it will do for a favorite scene.
It will do as a favourite scene. I like it.
That's brilliant. That's-
It's not great, but it'll do. Rob, do you want to give your favourite scene?
not entirely convinced one exists.
Oh,
I, I was. I don't know if you hear when I was saying it earlier or not, but honestly, man, like it's just this whole thing was such a frustrating experience for me. Like it's just. How many times did I fall asleep? 3 times trying to watch it.
yeah.
So that was going on, and then when I did manage to finally watch it from start to end, I spent the whole time questioning whether I was just like actually asleep, and that's why I wasn't getting anything, or if there was just like so much missing. And it's just like, well, I don't know. Like if I was to pick a favorite scene from that experience, it'd literally just be like, I don't know, just press stop at a random point because it all kind of blurs into one for me because none of it made any sense to me.
Least favourite scene?
Again, like literally, right? But the one bit of like, oh, that's quite cool. I got was seeing the walrus for the first time, and I was like, he looks like a nice guy. And that was.
Fair. Benjamin?
I think my favourite scene probably is Do you know the scene where I forget? Obviously, we keep saying them as they are, but the walrus guy and the alpaca woman on the bench in the park, just chilling and just talking about and just bonding. I just really like that, and that's where you first see her do a crazy little self-defense move, whatever it is called. But I did appreciate that because you can see the humanity in both of them at that point. Pun intended. But I just appreciate that he was coming out of his shell a bit. Even if it wasn't much, it was still just a tiny bit of him showing a bit more like because he's always so kind of like closed in. He keeps himself very kind of like a blank slate, kind of like focused on just his job. He doesn't care much about anything else. But then he was kind of like, you can see him. He does have thoughts and feelings, and that was the first step in that direction. Yeah, and it's kind of like what Alec was saying earlier. I really appreciate. I think what made the story so interesting is when that twist happens, when you realize that he's just hallucinating and seeing all these animals are just this his mind and this condition he has, and it makes the story really kind of like on the next level. But then after that, once you have that revelation, you kind of like, hang on, there's a lot more issues and a lot more random things that don't quite make sense, and you think that will kind of iron it out, but it doesn't. It kind of highlights more problems with the plot. But if you take that aside, I do appreciate they did that, because the things like we mentioned about the cats and random animals in the world would not make sense otherwise. So I'm glad they did address that, because it's kind of like my issue was the design of the animation. Is like, is it just anthropomorphic animals for the sake of it? Is there a meaning behind this? But we do have a meaning behind this. But yeah, it's apart from that, there was a lot of random things that did frustrate me, much like all you guys did, Random Manual. But that's just, we could talk all night about all the things that we didn't like or didn't go with.
I think this is actually a bit of an oddity in terms of film club, because outside of Bad Film Round, I don't think we've ever had something that's highest score has been less than 7. And it's also like, I don't know, everyone's score is around the same kind of numbers.
Yeah, I was thinking usually like the person who picked it scores it highest, but yeah, Emmanuel's also not happy with it. So like even with Ex Machina, that had you know, champions. Even though I was like, oh, this sucks actually.
This is mad, because like it scored higher than Pee-wee, but Pee-wee's highest score was 8.8. How does that happen?
Oh man.
Someone's fucked something up somewhere.
Should we all rescore it right now?
Just realised Pee-wee's actually missing a field.
Oh,
Oh
really?
shit!
What do you mean?
It's gone from your score rather than it just wasn't picking up Rob's score.
Oh, what?
Oh, he's cutting you out of a little beast, Ben.
God damn it, Alec.
There you go.
The agenda is always there.
You got 5.7 instead.
Good.
It's still lower than ODDTAXI.
I hope you're happy.
Damn, only by 0.1%.
Yeah.
Let me lower ODDTAXI right now.
There you go. It was it was the difference between 5.6 and 5.7.
Aha. Sometimes it does automatically change it for me, and other times it doesn't, and I don't know why. But I think it must be the mobile app, which just does not like me at all.
The mobile app's crap. For some reason, it always gets the average wrong.
I don't get it.
I don't like. It's quite a simple thing. Like, I don't know what's gone wrong, but Like it will just spit out a random number now. Like earlier on, it told me my average was 4.3. And then I looked on desktop and it had changed to 4.8. And I was like, who's done this? And I double checked it and I was like, oh no, it is right.
Very nice.
Madness. Oh, taxi, excuse me.
Right. Patrick, if you can work it out to unmute yourself, tell us what your favourite scene is or your least favourite scene. Or he's not. Oh, okay.
He was busy creating the impression of a coin.
Scenes. I was more into the aesthetic of it. At this point, I to remember a scene that I liked or disliked.
I struggle to remember a scene.
But like for me, this film, I'll remember a really nice animation design. So
Is it? Well, yeah. I imagine this would make quite a nice little open world game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Especially with the. Yeah, you know what? This would be better as a game. You're a fucking taxi driver and you're working out murder mysteries somehow because the right people just keep getting in your taxi.
It sounds like a fairy version of Grim Fandango.
Yeah, except Grim Fandango's stupid.
No, Grim Fandango was a wonderful game.
No, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, the problem you had with Grim Fandango is that you played it like 3 generations after it came out. So
Yeah,
it looked a
no
bit weird.
internal logic. You need to have a fucking nonsense brain to fucking play it.
Oh.
Because you're like, oh, you can only find this if you set fire to a flamingo and then a dairy milk chocolate bar just swings in on a rope and it's just like, what?
Yeah, because it was like that was like the shit posting era of PS1.
You can't, yeah, but fucking mystery where it's like you literally can't work it out by yourself. You have to just do nonsense until the story. Fuck Grim Fandango.
No, that's the appeal, man. You just kind of like meander through and then things happen and you go, oh, that's what's going on. That's why this would be perfect for the game.
This had more logic to it than Grim fucking Fandango.
No, it didn't, because there was never a point where I went, oh, that's what's going on.
Well, I knew. Right, well. Does someone, against all odds, have any parting thoughts for Odd Taxi in the Woods? No, sorry, I think Emmanuel just did it. Just big yawn.
I will try and do at least a little more research before I pick something I haven't seen.
To be completely fair, you've done. I'm going to find out how many picks you've done.
I think that would be like 20 now.
It's got to be something like that. You have done 24 picks.
24,
And
wow.
in that time, this is the first one where I've gone, this is abjectly boring. The rest of them have been pretty, we've got a good chat out of them, if nothing else. Like, it might have been unpleasant. I've always been excited to come in and talk about them. This was the first one where I've gone like, fuck this. Actually, maybe sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. I could be fine.
Wow.
I'll eat shit. That was terrible.
That was a whole year ago now.
Oh, fuck.
That was good. But fair enough. That wasn't an enjoyable watch. A good film.
Yeah, but
It was a hard one.
You keep doing what you're doing, man. This one was I think you got a good average there. Like 22 out of 24 was fucking boring.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Why are you laughing at that? That means 22 out of 24 were good.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm
Yeah, I
not
know it is.
disputing it.
Giggling with intent.
No, I'm giggling because Emmanuel said thanks, man. And it was just, it just sounded like he'd received bad news.
Okay, well, if there's no parting thoughts, go on, Simon. He's asleep.
Wait, he can't be asleep. It's his film next. What
He
you
might...
pick?
Hey, we thought that was going to happen with you last time.
Oh yeah, that was. That feels like a long time ago.
It does, doesn't it?
Thank you for waking up.
I had to text Camilla on an unfamiliar number, and she still told me everything I needed to know.
Oh wait, so wait, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so parting thoughts is just watch the series. I mean, like if you sleep every half an hour, I mean, like you can get up and just walk around and go back into it. It's probably better for all you guys. Just watch the series. It's better.
Oh, cool.
Okay, but because this is the end of chat, I guess I'll explain what my picks is. Because we're going into like the sort of Halloweenish season, I was gonna go, do I want to choose a scary movie? Nah, you guys have probably all got your murder mysteries and all other crazy psycho movies ready to be done. So I was thinking,
Oh, no.
what's Halloween themed? I guess mice, but I don't want to choose scary mice. So what are like cute mice? Oh wait, Disney has a cute mice.
Oh,
Universal also have cute mice. I was like, okay, so my two ones are two animations. One is Basil, the Great Mouse Detective.
Oh yes.
The second one is American Tail.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Well, what? I've never in a million years expected that.
Brilliant.
Mouse found. Here we go.
Okay, yeah, there's two tales about mice. I was like, all right, yeah, sure, yeah, mice. Why not? I was like, yeah, it's within the like creepy crawly theme, I guess, but it's like not really scary. So yeah, the Great Mouse Detective and American Tail. That's like it's on Disney Plus. It's on Amazon. You can watch it. It's quite universal. You can probably watch it wherever.
That is awesome.
Okay.
What a great callback.
All right.
That also
Quite
means
happy with
that
it.
the Great Mouse Detective is our first film with 4 directors.
Is it early? Bloody
Yeah.
hell. And
Wow,
it's the
that
first.
surprises me.
Rob, is it the first Sherlock Holmes adjacent film?
It might be actually. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I don't think we've had another like mystery film really every other than actually. Yeah, that's kind of weird that we've had 2 in a row. That's...
Wonderful.
Hey,
Great job, Simon.
I fucking love Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah, so it's really part of like the childhood like set of movies that I'm used to watch all the time. So yeah, those were my films. I'm pretty sure most people will enjoy them. I mean, we'll see.
I'd
Are we
be surprised if the Great Mouse Detective bombs.
Wait, are we counting American Tail as a musical or as an adventure?
Oh, no, it's definitely an adventure. There's only like 3 songs in it.
Someone
Out there.
is money tonight.
Yeah, I mean that's the only one I can think of. To be fair.
Yeah, that's same here.
The same. Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen an American Tail in so long.
I bet you might have seen it and you just might have forgotten it.
Oh yeah, no, I have seen it because it hasn't been since I was a kid though. But I distinctly remember thinking that the whole idea about a land without cats was great.
It's a lovely story. Just like these Russian mice going to live in America, finding a new life.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually really excited.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is a good comeback. No offense, Manuel. Turns.
Hang on a minute. These both came out in 1986.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
there's actually one of the reasons one of the GCC films is because both of the films were about 3 months apart from each other, but the animation styles are so different because one is Disney, one is Don Bluth, is what I
Don't
want
believe,
to say.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the animation styles are completely different. So I want to like
Yeah.
have a talk about the differences. So that's like which one you guys would prefer. So it's like, oh, that's probably part of the chat as well.
You know
That's
what?
kind of.
This is your first entry into the 1980s.
Yes. Nice.
That's kind of mad that we've had a Don Bluth film that isn't The Land Before Time, Before the Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Well,
it's true.
that was like another set of like double bills for me, but let's not go into that yet. It's just like I'll choose that. I'll choose that in a future pick, unless Dan steals it from me or something.
That also that's one in a long line now of films that we've had that were produced by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that's true.
And now you've got this, Back to the Future, Men in Black, Gremlins, and what else have we had?
There's probably quite a lot that we can't think of.
I'm sure there's loads. Yeah.
One forthcoming.
Oh.
Yes. Boredom produced, actually.
Oh, shit off.
Okay. Okay.
Not you. You're all right. Oh, sorry.
Okay, man.
Yes, you went.
I just went to go and pull up the. I'm trying to pull up the release dates so I can get the list all right, and it's not cooperating with me.
Sorry, man.
Aliens is July 18th, and Basil was July 2nd.
This is the perfect primer for Halloween, man. This is great.
Actually, you know what? The Great Mouse Detective actually shit me up as a kid.
What? You got scared at some really strange things, man.
It was
Well-
it was when Rattigan becomes like a bit feral.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, fair enough, actually.
Lights
Yeah,
on it, I
I've
was
just had a flashback to that.
Yeah, Rattigan was a fantastic villain.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
that's actually quite scary.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah, you mocked me.
And then
And then
I had more information and it became reasonable.
You remembered.
Yeah, facts. I like facts.
Yeah, facts. You shit. No, fuck. Oh, I've got this thing all wrong. Stand
These
By
are
Me came out after Aliens.
This is the first Disney film we've had this year, I think, as well, isn't it?
Wait, wait. Are you counting? Wait, no. Disney, Pixar. Oh yeah.
I thought the last one we did was Lion King, and that was the,
What?
that was like the
What
last one.
does a Bug's Life count, or does that not count yet?
Oh yeah, Bug's Life. Yeah, that's true. I think I might pick a Disney film scene actually because it's their 100th year this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Honestly.
Okay. Go fall asleep then.
Did you say go fall asleep, babe?
No. I wouldn't call it Manuel Babe, especially not with Camilla there.
Oh, why not? He is a babe.
What a babe.
All right.
Take care. Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck, I got this all so wrong. July 2nd, July 18th, August 1st, August 8th, August 15th. November.
Ugh. Right, I better go because I've got to get an early train.
Oh yeah, good luck, man.
Cheers, man. See you guys in a bit.
See you
Take care.
guys in a bit.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.